Hello and welcome back to the Movie Basket Podcast. I'm joined with my good friend Gene.
How's it going?
We're super excited to be back in the studio. Episode 1 took a while to come out, admittedly, but
Yeah, we had a lot going on. You know how it goes.
without getting too far ahead of ourselves, I will say I think I enjoyed the movie we had to watch for episode 1 a lot more than this.
Significantly more.
Yeah. I feel bad making fun of it now because compared to this movie we're discussing
I think
today,
we're gonna kind of experience that more in the future with the more movies that we cover. The more we're gonna
Okay,
feel bad about
yeah.
ripping on Wonder Woman because Wonder Woman is such like a middle of the road movie, and it's like now we're really getting into bad movies.
Yeah, poor Wonder Woman.
She didn't deserve it.
But on today's episode, we'll be discussing 2019's Cats, which is an adaptation of the musical by the same name. Before we get into that, though, I'd just like to thank all the viewers for the support on our first episode. Within the first 24 hours of us posting, we had over 10 likes on our first episode.
Which might not sound like a lot, but for a project like this, just
It meant a lot to me personally.
yeah,
seeing how
no, it's
everyone's-
like that's a lot for us.
Yeah, so I really appreciate the support that everyone showed on that first episode, and I
A
hope
bunch
you
of
guys
people
enjoyed
listened, which
Yeah.
was not something we were really not expecting like more than maybe one person and us to listen to it.
it. Yeah,
But we got
especially being that long, I can't believe people put up with our
what they
ramblings
did,
for that long.
but
Yeah,
they did, which is cool. So thanks guys, welcome back.
I was gonna say we even had some messages on Instagram that were
Mhm.
super nice. So, yeah, welcome back, and I appreciate the support. As I said, today's episode is about 2019's Cats. Do you want to start with some of the background before we even get into the plot?
Yeah, I do. But first we need to apologize to everyone that worked on and was in Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Because-
we were too hard.
Yeah, we were too hard on Wonder Woman and now we have to cover Cats, which is unbelievable.
I will say it was also your choice for Cats.
It was my choice for Cats. Spoiler. I thought it was
Is that a spoiler?
no. I just think it's funny that this movie exists. This movie had a $90 million budget, and it brought in like $70 million, which immediately that is a colossal box office
Yeah,
failure.
and-
That's horrible.
And that's not even with advertising or
Uh-huh.
any of the extra fees that comes with promoting a movie like that.
Right. And they did have Taylor Swift in this movie, which
That's probably where most of the 90
most
million
of the,
went.
yeah. And how long was she actually in the movie? Not long at all.
It couldn't have been more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But
To
honestly,
sing like one song.
I'm going to say as we get into this, with the amount of characters that are in this movie, I feel like none of the characters besides the main like 3 were really in the movie for more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, no. I guess just a general idea of the plot. We'll kind of summarize that real quick.
Yeah. I also just want to add quickly, for those who don't know, Cats was a Broadway musical to begin
Yes,
with.
it was. It was British, right? It was in I think it released first in London, but I could
And then
be
it made
wrong
its
with
way
that.
over to-
Yeah.
Not to out ourselves, but we both did theater in high school.
Yes.
We did some stage hands.
Yeah.
I was in a show
Uh-huh.
or 2. Actually, yeah, I was in 2
Mm.
shows. So
I was in I think 4.
Yeah.
3 or 4 shows. I did baseball too. I did both. I just want to preface that I'm not a theater kid.
Yeah,
guys. I'm
no.
just a kid in theater. Neither of us are.
we don't consider ourselves theater kids.
I don't think a theater kid would like Cats 2019.
No, but I also just can't imagine anyone liking Cats the musical because, like, I will say, from what I understood, the translation of like the book, like the play itself, was pretty accurate. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it was just
most of the
bad writing. The
Yeah.
writing. Wow, we said. I mean, I'm gonna keep bringing this up. We said the writing for Wonder Woman was bad. Wow, this is bad writing.
I think part of it too is I really haven't seen many Broadway to film musical adaptations
Neither
that I've
have
really
I. I was
enjoyed.
never a big. Well, I've just not seen that many in general. I'll be honest. I'll out myself a little bit. I
Yeah.
just never really. I haven't been to Broadway many times.
The only one I could think of really liking, and I might be wrong on the timeline, but Mamma Mia was a Broadway show before it was a movie, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I like Mamma Mia a lot.
Mhm.
But like the musicals I could think of that I did enjoy, like A Star Is Born from 2019 as well.
Yes.
Or actually, is that 2018? I don't know. A Star Is Born with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. I really like that movie. And I think that one worked better because it wasn't a stage musical first.
Mhm.
I think,
It's hard to translate that.
yeah, especially as we start talking about a lot of the issues with this movie, I think a lot of it is just the fact that it was meant to be seen, like, you're seeing it on a play. And not to call it, like, two-dimensional, but, like, you know, you're only looking at it from head on. You don't
Yeah.
get to see all these weird intricacies
Right.
of the
You're
set.
seeing it from one direction. There's no you have the stage limitations that
Yeah.
you don't have with a movie. With a movie, the movie could take you anywhere, any situation. You have full immersion. With the play, it's not like that. You just see the one angle of things.
And I think that was a big issue.
That
Besides
definitely
the fact that Cats is just a shitty idea for a musical.
it was definitely an idea that someone came up with just off of LSD or something.
Yeah.
What if we made a whole bunch of cats, but they're humans, but they they're all covered in fur and then dance for an hour and 50 minutes and then one of them can teleport.
Cats is probably a bunch of people's furry awakenings.
Oh, do you think that? Do you think people
I
saw
think
cats
so.
and were like, "Wow, mama."
I think so. I think that definitely brought a lot of people.
Oh, that's a sad thought. You see, who was the one the Jenny Annie Dots, the big
Oh, Rebel Wilson.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get into the plot.
Yeah, go for it.
So, we follow the main character, the main cat, Victoria. She gets abandoned and on the streets of London, and she meets this clan of cats called the Jellicle Cats, which are, as we previously stated, a whole bunch of very, very freaky, very scary, humanoid cats. And
for the background on this podcast, I'm definitely gonna try and find a good still of the movie just so people have to stare at the same.
Get one of the ones with James Corden.
Yeah,
the one where he's like. You guys can't see what I'm doing, but there's this one scene where he just starts literally Fortnite emoting.
Or maybe I'll get Jason Derulo when he screams milk. That was a funny one too.
So we followed the Jellicle Cats around, and the first literally 50 or 60 minutes of the movie is just each individual character getting their own musical number as an introduction. And the movie is less than 2 hours long, so it's half of the movie is made up of introducing the cast, which is hilarious in itself. More on that later. We follow around the Jellicle Cats. Victoria is just learning the history and backstory. Not even just she's just learning every single character.
Being introduced to all these people.
Getting taken around wherever the wind takes me, I'll go. She follows everyone around, and then they have to go to the Jellicle Ball, which is an annual ceremony where one cat gets picked to go to Heaviside Lair, which allows them to be reborn.
Yeah, they physically ascend.
Yeah, they
I didn't know anything about Cats, the musical.
Uh-huh.
So when I was watching the movie,
I don't think that happened on
No?
stage. Do you think that do you think they just had someone ascend? How?
Well, I mean that's such a random thing to throw in the movie. I thought the plot was accurate to the. I don't know. I didn't see the.
No,
play.
I just mean who thought of that? Why did they just have someone ascend as a plot device?
Well, I mean, who thought of having humans act
that's
like
a good
cats?
question. That's a really good question.
So I don't think it's too outlandish. To go from there.
You want to keep up what happens at the Jellicle Ball, because the first that's where things pick up is at the Jellicle Ball. I mean, they pick up right before when Victoria meets these two mischievous cats, gets into some trouble messing with her owners. The dog comes out and scares them away.
I wish we saw the dog because I was really curious. I'm like, is the dog
I
also
wanted to know,
humanoid?
Is the dog humanoid or is it just a regular pooch? I don't know.
Maybe we should write in to the directors and ask them
what
they thought.
Can you please give us a rendering of what the dog would look like?
All right.
We need to know.
Getting a little off topic, I guess.
We've never done that before.
Yeah,
we never got off topic.
So the cast is a lot of celebrities, pretty much an all-star cast. Who do you think would play the dog? What's Hollywood A-lister would be the dog? Because I have a pick.
I have a pick too. Give me Keanu Reeves to play the
ooh,
dog.
okay.
He's gonna hunt you down. He's gonna chase you down. He's gonna piss on your fire hydrant.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like it would be Dwayne the Rock Johnson being
really?
A pit bull or some shit like that. Just because all the cats themselves, all right, besides James Corden, were pretty sleek and tiny. So I feel like having Dwayne the Rock Johnson in contrast is his big humanoid dog thing.
He would be a bulldog, I think.
Yeah, I feel like that would make the most sense. But I don't know. I was curious what you're thinking about.
I was thinking, Keanu Reeves, because kind of vengeful in John Wick.
Yeah.
And then maybe Taken 2, Liam Neeson. Is that his name?
Yeah, Liam Neeson.
I haven't seen that movie, but yeah, Liam Neeson in Taken.
I just know Liam Neeson for the Star Wars movies. Honestly,
really?
I don't think I've seen him in anything else.
Yeah, I need to watch Taken. I've wanted to see that, but yeah, very vengeful. I feel like the dog would be played by someone who's
yeah,
a hunter.
But getting back on topic with the plot, while they're at the Jellicle ball, tell me if I mispronounce her name. How do you say it? Old do.
Old.
They said it multiple times in the movie.
Deuteronomy.
Yeah.
I think old. They do. They say it a few times in the movie, but
I just remember
there
like
are so many characters.
I was gonna say I remember like listening to it and being like, oh, I'm gonna have a hard time saying that in the podcast.
Every single name that they pick for every single cat except for Victoria is some stupid bullshit name. Every single one.
That's one of the notes I took while I was watching the movie, is because like humans exist in this world, right? There was a whole song about how like mom doesn't want this like nasty little cat or some shit like that.
Humans exist in this.
So what human would name like their cat McCavity? You know what I mean? Like, like where's the fucking, if this is a real movie about cats, where's
naming
Oreo?
The cat Victoria?
Yeah, where's Oreo? Where's Penny? Where's Mittens? Like all these normal cat names.
Nope, we have to have Rum Tum Tugger.
Rum Tum Tugger. I hardly know her.
Oh, that's a good one right there.
I'm gonna throw that in probably every time his name comes up.
Every time.
Well, I guess we missed Rum Tum Tugger. He was a part of the introductions as well. That's Jason Derulo. Which is probably the funniest casting choice in this movie, in my opinion. Like James Corden being in it.
It's so funny to me though. Like that's
but
hilarious.
It doesn't surprise me because he's done other like
like slapstick.
No, I was gonna say like musicals because he was into the Woods, the theatrical version of that, and he was in the theatrical version of Prom, which I think came out after Cats. So he's done multiple of these movies before, so that didn't surprise me. It's funny seeing him pretty much in like a cat onesie, but Jason Derulo kind of surprised me. Funny,
disgusting, something.
I like how. Like, we get that it's Jason Derulo, right?
Yes.
Why did they need to give him the beard he has? Like, his cat has the same beard he has
they give
IRL.
him just like, maybe that's something with the mocap or something, but like, they give him a beard even though he's like a cat. It's just his real life counterpart beard. It looks horrible. It looks about as good as a cat with like a human beard would look.
I'm gonna call her Old Doot just because I don't think I could say it.
Old Doot?
Yeah. If you want to go for it, you can, but I physically don't think I can say
capable. I mean, yeah, sure, we'll say Old Doot. I like that.
So, Old Doot, while at the Jellicle ball, ends up pretty much being fucking abducted.
Yes. You literally, like,
Taylor Swift and Taylor Swift and company come in, and they, was it like, what was it? Was it considered catnip?
Yes, it was catnip. It was catnip.
Because they throw around a bunch of catnip, and all these cats start passing out.
Yeah, and that scene particularly is really gross, just in general, because like it's very like, it's like seductive the way they like dance in a lot of the movie. It's a really freaky movie, but like they're dancing around with like the catnip, and it's just, I've never felt more uncomfortable like sitting through a movie in my entire life than when I was watching Cats 2019.
There's a lot of things that made me uncomfortable in this movie, but. Old Dude gets abducted, and suddenly they're on this ship, and she's pretty much like walking the plank, like pirate style, where it's like
actually walking off a plank.
Yeah. So they're like, like you're gonna die if you don't pick me to be the one to ascend. So, luckily, in the nick of time, the Magic Cat, which I'm blanking on his name too. What was Magic Cat's name? I'm trying to find it.
Was that Mr. Mistopheles?
Yeah, Mr. Mistopheles does his little magic trick, and poof, she's back. She lives, and she doesn't get pushed.
Does it ever explain why some of the cats have magic? Because the main villain, McCavity, also has magic. He has the power of teleportation. Do they explain in the movie why these cats?
Not that I remember. I feel like if they tried to explain it, it would probably be lame.
I feel like if they tried to explain it, it would sound the same as every other song that they sung. Every single song sounded the same.
Yeah. I don't know how to really criticize the music. I'll say I didn't enjoy it, but I'm not.
I will say one good thing about the music.
Yeah.
Is that I could see that the score, like maybe not the lyrics, but the way it sounded, there were bits and pieces where it sounded like there was a vision for the music. It just sounded, you know what I mean? The instruments sounded good in some.
Yeah.
I can't think of any of the song names off the top of my head because I don't know the song names, but and also it's like 90% song because it's a musical.
Yeah.
But there were some parts where I was listening to the backing tracks and the instruments, and I thought to myself, that's not bad. I don't hate it.
That was probably.
There were other times I was listening to the instruments and I thought, wow, I think I'm gonna put a screw in my ear because There was
Yeah.
a few
Some of them are
times
annoying on
specifically-
purpose.
Yeah, just awful. Like goofy,
Goof-
terrible
goofy
music.
upbeat.
It was goofy. Just like it sounded like a cat walking on a piano. If that's what they were going for, they did a great job.
feel
But
like
that's
they
not
probably-
actually a good sound. So
Yeah, I feel like they probably were, but I will say the music is probably the easiest thing for them to do right because this was all
yes,
written for
and
them
that's
ahead
what
of
they
time.
did the best.
Yeah,
They did the music the best out of anything in that movie, unless on their agenda was like,
Most-
traumatizing young kids.
most of the people singing sounded fine in my opinion.
They
You know
sounded
what I mean?
fine. I just don't really like I just personally, my music taste, I don't really like the theatrical style of music.
Yeah, I totally
but
get that.
but from an objective perspective, they all kind of they killed it. They did
Yeah.
fine. They hit every high note. There was a lot of high notes. They did objectively well from a singing perspective.
Honestly, I will say, like, if you're a Broadway fan and you like theatrical music and you just listen to the soundtrack
You'd-
for
you'd
Cats,
like
you'd
it.
probably enjoy it
You
because
would.
you know the songs. There's a lot of great celebrities included in this movie, and they all sound fine.
Yeah.
So if you're just a fan of Broadway music and you didn't watch the movie, you would probably enjoy what the score
You
had
would.
to offer.
And that's something to note is that even though this movie is one of the worst I've ever seen, there are good things about it. And you could say that about most bad movies.
Yeah,
I think that's about where the positive ends for Cats is the music.
yeah.
But
Do you want to finish off the plot and we can get into some of the further criticisms?
yeah, so after the whole catnip thing, walk the plank, they all come back, and Victoria is talking to Grisabella, who is this.
Tay Swift, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
is she? No, I don't know.
No, Griswold. What was Taylor
Can you look
Swift's
that
name?
up real quick?
I'll
Well, so Grisabella is this ex. I forget the exact term they used. This ex like dancer cat.
Oh, that was Jennifer Hudson. You're right.
Yeah.
She's the one who sings at the end. My bad.
Yeah. So Grisabella is like this ex beauty cat. I think that's what it is, a beauty cat, and she kind of has a bad reputation. But Victoria's singing with her, and she relates to her, and Grisabella sings from the heart, and begins to ascend, and McCavity is all like and he like climbs up this rope and tries to get up onto like where Grisabella is ascending,
Yeah.
but then he's deemed not worthy.
With every musical, there's supposed to be like one show-stopping song, and in this one, it was Grisabella's song as she began ascending.
This is the cat's song. You know what I mean?
But like the whole movie did set up for that because like the whole thing with ascending being the chosen Jellicle cat was that you had to sing a true song from the heart.
Yes, and so she does, and so that's the big song of the musical.
But I feel like it was an underwhelming song. Am I wrong to say that? Again, like
no, you're not wrong to say it. It was an underwhelming song.
I don't know much about like music criticism, so I don't want to spend too much time hyper fixating on it, but just like especially for a movie that just really didn't go anywhere for the first hour and we were really building up for this big moment where a Jellicle cat was going to be chosen, it just felt kind of underwhelming.
There's no hook, and I think that's why it's so difficult, honestly, to talk about this movie, is because I just could not fully follow the movie. There's no hook.
Yeah.
You get distracted very easily when you're watching Cats.
Especially when they chose to mocap and CGI the entire movie.
Yes.
I feel like the visuals are more distracting
The
than
visuals
anything.
are hideous.
Yeah, so
That's something that I think even a blind person could see, is just how ugly they all look.
I will say quickly before we get into the further criticisms, McCavity tries to stop Grisabella from ascending, but he can't do it.
No, 'cause he
as he's not
sucks.
chosen. And then afterwards, Victoria is welcomed into the
Clan,
Jellicle clan, and everyone lives happily ever after.
So that's the movie.
Yeah.
That's a general summary. There's not a lot to it. It's an hour of introductions, and then Victoria gets into some trouble, and then they go dancing. They go dancing some more, and then abduction.
Can I
chosen one. Yeah,
jump
go ahead.
in? You mentioned dancing, and one of the things that I really noticed when I was watching the movie is that so obviously in any musical number there's going to be some breaks for little dance montages and stuff like
course.
that. But the dances were so uncomfortable in this movie.
They were
like,
very sultry. They were like a lot of legs, open legs, and it's like you're in a cat suit. I don't want to see that, James Corden. You know what I mean?
Not only was it like a little sexually charged, you could say, but
Which is a weird thing to do in a movie about cats.
Yeah.
Like that's gross.
It just felt like there were a lot of scenes or moments where like it just stayed for a second too long, and there was like an awkward pause between like I could think of Rebel Wilson's cat kind of just standing on the
Yes.
side, and
Her name was Jenny Any Dots, which is a very normal cat name.
yeah, but like there's a scene where like her and another cat look at one another during like a dance scene, and it just stays on them for what feels like a second too long, and it's like, oh, that was weird.
It's like
And the camera work,
just the camera work. There's a
Yeah.
lot of shaky cam. I noticed.
which made it even worse because the visuals
now
already.
now I'm getting seasick watching this.
That's one of the notes I took is because like the visuals already are hard enough to kind of look at with all this weird ass CGI. The way I kind of thought about it, you know, you remember the annoying orange?
Yeah.
That's what the CGI felt like. It felt like they had these like faceless cats that they already assembled, and then they just took like the eyes, nose, and mouth of the actors and just
Just put them onto the cats. Yeah. It's like they had a whole bunch of templates, and they were like, all right, this one is Rum Tum Tugger, and this one is Skimbleshanks. Like,
I don't know if that's how they did it, but like if you look close enough, you could see that like the color of their eyes or nose was often too well lit in comparison to the lighting of the scene on the cats.
it was a very like the lighting was very dark throughout most of the movie.
Yeah.
Also, so
Most of the movie took place in that alleyway.
in an alleyway in London, like exclusively at night.
One thing I noticed at the alleyway is like I didn't understand the scale of the cats at first because like
I have a specific note that Bustopher Jones, James Corden's fat cat character, is 25 pounds. He says that. That's an actually says, I am 25 pounds.
one of the songs. Yeah.
And it's like, how tall is James Corden? Because we could see how tall he is. Like, it's not like the scale matches the cats.
The thing that confused me is because like they're supposed to be cat sized, and you could see that for most of the movie. Like when they're in the bedroom,
Yes.
You could see that when they're at the milk bar, like they have to leap up onto the chairs and stuff like that. But then when they're out on the alleyway and they're standing on their hind legs,
off.
yeah, they're taller. Like they could see eye level through the windows, like a human would be able to. And I thought the whole world was built around humans, and they were just cats that were in it.
Right.
So I don't really understand the scale in that.
Jarring.
Yeah. Which I guess sounds like a minor criticism, but like I feel like in comparison, if you look up stills from the Broadway adaptation of it, like there was a lot more thought put into that. And especially when you have all that money, all that special effects to play with, I feel like that's something you should keep consistent if you want to be building this world that's kind of hard to believe in to begin with.
Yes. It's a difficult watch because, like you were just talking about, with the proportion that the cats have to the rest of their environment, the bad visuals in CGI, the jarring dancing scenes, the bad camera work, the whole time you're watching the movie, you can't help but to feel like you're tripping on acid the whole time.
Yeah.
And not in a good way. It's a bad trip. Cats is a bad trip.
Yeah.
Cats is like if you had
Nightmare.
unregulated. You guys know cart nights? It's like if you smoke a
Limoncello
whole
cart
cart night
night.
limoncello, banana OG. That's what that's like.
For episode 10, we'll smoke a cart night limoncello.
That's a great idea. That might be the last episode, depending on how much
Yeah,
we smoke. But
I was gonna say we wouldn't survive that.
we can't.
That's one of my favorite
grams
memes.
of
Sorry.
banana OG can you
Sorry.
take?
That's just one of my favorite memes. I love seeing
I
the
love it.
screenshot.
No, it's so. I actually really
cards.
want to. I want to buy one just to have it. I would never touch it. But like, how funny would that be to own?
To have like to proudly display on a mantle. I agree.
Yeah,
I would never
right?
want to smoke anything like that.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot
But like
pole.
to have
but-
it like put up on your
like,
bookshelf.
You know how
like,
you could like hang like antlers over the fireplace?
Yeah.
I would just hang all of my cart nights.
stack them like people stack their fucking Funko Pops.
Yeah. Keep them in the box.
Yeah, this one's a pristine
I got this one
limoncello.
for $15 from my middle school.
That's
That's what the movie feels like. It feels like smoking a cart night limoncello.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really like the seasick comparison you made before because that's really how, especially it got a little bit better as the movie went on, but some of
No,
those
it
first
didn't. That's called Stockholm syndrome.
really
It
I
did
don't-
not get better.
I don't know.
You just got used to it.
I guess so. I thought the camera kind of stabilized a bit, but like especially any dance number where like I noticed the Magic Cat specifically. What's his name, Mr.
Mistopheles.
Mr.
obviously.
Mistopheles. Anytime he was like dancing, he would kind of like hit that cat pose and me looking right into the camera.
Oh, I didn't like all the cat poses.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of cat like puns. Oh, cat got your tongue, or like, look what the cat dragged
yeah.
in. And it's like, how many of those can you make? Like,
I don't. That is to be expected in a movie
well,
called
of course
Cats.
it
I
is,
think.
but I mean, it's just like so forced. They didn't do it in a way that was like, maybe that's just
Yeah,
again me
I think it's
hyper
just cat
criticizing.
puns. Yeah.
But like that's so just ugh.
The thing, I guess, that like the frequency of something that pissed me off more than that, the amount of times they said Jellicle was
Dude,
insane.
what the fuck is a jellicle? Like, pardon me, but what is a jellicle?
I should have been taking notes of how many times they said Jellicle. Like that should
That
be
would
like
be
a
a fun
drink.
drinking game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take a shot every time
Oh,
they say.
you'd be dead.
No, you descend and then be reborn.
It had to be like take a sip of your drink every time they said it because it's so frequent.
Yeah, you can't take a shot. You would.
But yeah, like we get it. We know they're a part of the Jellicle clan. We know they're Jellicle cats. There was like 3 different music numbers about we're Jellicle cats.
Yes, dude. The first 8 minutes. So the first 8 minutes is all song, and they're like the Jellicle cats, the Jellicle cats,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Jellicle cats. It's like, wait, what are you? We're the Jellicle cats. Oh, thank you. Like,
Oh yeah, I
Thanks for
forgot. I
clarifying.
texted you when I first started the movie because I started it before you did.
yeah.
And I was like, bro, I'm like the first song is over 7 minutes long, and you're like, oh god.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, remember, all while these songs are happening, they're introducing these characters who have names like Rum Tum Tugger, Bustafer Jones, Skimble Shanks, Jenny
Can I
Annie Dots.
Can I skimble your shanks?
You can. I hardly knew her.
Oh.
Oh. There's a scene where James Corden, as Bustafer Jones, just starts eating garbage.
Yeah.
And all the cats start like dumpster diving. And he's all like, he's talking to the one guy. He's like, "Are you gonna finish that? Don't you want to eat that? Don't you want to eat that?" And then he like goes into the garbage can and falls down like a hole, like he just drops. And it was the work of McCavity. And then he's all like, "Ha ha ha, I'm McCavity," and then teleports away. Yeah.
I think
What's
it's
his
fu-
motive?
I don't know.
For being
he's
evil?
a bad guy.
He's just I don't explain a lot.
I think it's the funny the timing of it. So this movie came out in 2019.
Yeah.
And Idris Elba was McCavity.
Mhm.
Around the same time, they were probably filming the second Suicide Squad. So I'd like to imagine that like they interlapped. So one
Yeah.
day he's got like the cat makeup on, and then he just walks across the street, goes to the other set, and he's in Suicide Squad. I don't know. Probably didn't happen, but it would be funny if that was the case.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. I didn't look it up specifically, but how much were these actors paid?
I mean that's probably not public.
You're probably right, but I mean, yeah, why would it be public? But how much do we think that they could have been paid for a role like this? So you're gonna dress up as a cat.
Hold on, I just saw online because we said they lost a lot of money just based on the budget of the movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's estimated that the studio spent about $115 million globally on promotion and advertisement, which is insane. That's sorted by the Deadline Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
So they lost probably like close to $75 million making this movie.
Yeah, I really want to know what the writers' room was like when they were talking about making the original Broadway musical for this, because I don't see how you would make money on something like this. It would have to be done so expertly. I feel like there's not really a market for theater. Is there a market for theatrical cats that are also like sexually charged? Is that a market?
It was one of the biggest Broadway musicals of all time, so clearly people enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at stills from the Broadway production, and I think you should look it up too.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that really bothered me in the movie, and it's just an issue with CG, like mocap in general,
Yeah.
is that it's very hard to distinguish characters from one another. If you look at the
They were
Broadway,
all very similar.
yeah, if you look at the Broadway production, like the costumes are very different. They have different headpieces, different colors, makeup that clearly indicates which character is which.
Mm-hmm.
When it came to the female cats specifically, like I could not tell Victoria from the background cats really at any given time unless the camera was a medium shot of her.
Yeah. There was not a single. I'm looking at the still shots of the musical. You're right. They're all different. You can't tell the characters apart. And when they already have such forgettable names, or unforgettable depending on how you look at it.
I guess unforgettable, but like hard to learn names.
Hard to learn names when every 10 minutes there's a new character that has their own musical note, and then the other character doesn't get mentioned until the end, and it's like, it's just difficult to follow. It's the pacing of the movie is terrible, because like we kept saying, 1 hour of introductions. That's not good pacing. And yeah, the characters don't they don't stick out. There's not a single character
Yeah.
that I saw where was like that guy had a great performance. If there's one thing I'm taking away, it's this guy right here. It's Victoria. It's Bustafer Jones, whatever.
Yeah, that's a great point. And like
Bustafer. Who names a cat Bustafer?
Bustafer, I hardly know her. But no, that's a great point. And like going back to last week when we were talking about Wonder Woman, I know we spent not last week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a while
last
ago.
week.
Yeah, last week. When we were talking about Wonder Woman, we spent like a significant amount of time just talking about how we thought Kristen Wiig did good in her role.
Yeah.
And offering just kind of general, enthusiasm about the other actors. Because
Right.
like we could recognize that in the movie, it wasn't necessarily their fault. It was more so the way it was written.
Yes.
And here again, like I know
There's no anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I know the concept isn't great to begin with. I know the plot
It's
is
dull
weak.
feeling.
So
The acting
yeah,
is dull.
Admittedly, the actors didn't have much to work with, but like I don't know, they really gave nothing. It's dull, like you said, and especially again going back to the CGI, I just made everything feel kind of lifeless. Like especially the eyes, dude.
Dude,
If
it's
you looked
freaky.
if you looked at any of their eyes, like it just felt soulless. Like you could see right in, but there was nothing behind those
It
eyes.
felt like an experiment the whole time.
It could have been an experiment.
It might have been. I mean, I would not if I found out that Cats 2019 was an experiment of just what can we pump out onto home TVs. What you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
What could we get away with?
What can we get away with? Let's have James Corden start rolling in a garbage can.
I don't know if you ever saw the one meme about Timmy Thick.
Yeah.
It's like Timmy Thick was a 2-year long experiment conducted by Harvard. This concludes our experiment. Good day. That's what I would imagine the press release for Cats would be like. Cats was a 3-year long experiment done by Universal Pictures. This concludes our experiments.
Yeah.
So
Are there any particular scenes that stick out to you? What was your favorite scene of the movie?
my favorite scene was probably the intro scene for Rum Tum Tugger. It was like it's a funny name to begin with. It's fucking
is.
Jason Derulo, which makes the
As
meme
Rum
even
Tum
better.
Tugger.
Could you
Hardly knew her.
I'm assuming Jason Derulo was making his shitty fucking TikToks on set.
You think?
Probably.
What do you think they were like? He's like, I'm the Rum Tum Tugger, tug tug tug, and then
He was probably
walks
just stealing
away.
other people's content like he always does.
Uh-huh.
I don't. You know the song "Savage Love"?
By who?
Jason Derulo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
he stole the beat. Like that was a whole thing. There was a TikToker. His name's like Jax865 or something like that, and he made the beat for "Savage Love."
Mhm.
And Jason Derulo liked it, but he never made the effort to get the beat cleared.
Yeah.
So he just put out a song using this guy's fucking hard work, and eventually, like the label he signed to had to sign the guy who made the beat just so they wouldn't get sued because like he fucking stole his music.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it worked out. He got a record deal out of it, but still, like, I don't know. Jason Derulo is kind of like
He's an interesting guy in himself.
he's fucking annoying. I don't like.
It takes an interesting guy. Well, I mean, don't you think that like the general audience of Cats that would actually really like it? I'm sorry if you're a Cats fan, but you're probably annoying if you liked this movie. That's
Yeah, although like, I don't know. I feel like even people who like Broadway didn't like this movie because if you look up the
Right,
critical
so-
reception,
uh-huh.
I believe it has like a 1.8 on Letterboxd, and
That's
it had.
why I think you gotta be annoying to like Cats because like
Let me check.
there's
the,
nothing wrong with liking a Broadway musical. Nothing wrong with that.
As a 2.8
But
on.
if you like Cats, I just know you go around and start singing everywhere you walk, and you're on all fours, like
Yeah. Although, ooh, interesting. So it has a 2.8 on IMDb, and then I went over to Rotten Tomatoes.
it's
so,
like what 18% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, the critics gave it 19% on 330 reviews.
Yeah.
But the audience score is actually 53%
That's
on over 5,000
unbelievable.
reviews. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so the critics' consensus is that it's a pretty bad movie. But the audience seemed to like it. Because that's a 53% average. So
Uh-huh.
obviously there's people giving it like 5-star reviews and stuff like that, and there's also people giving it half-a-star reviews, but it averages out to be about even.
So I just looked it up. Cats became popular because it has quote solid, memorable music that you can remember and sing. So
The
that's
movie
fair.
or the musical? I mean,
The musical.
Yeah, the Broadway. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
hold on. You're right. This is the musical. I'm looking at the. Can we read some reviews of
We should have prepared some ahead of
we
time,
should
but
have,
we
but
could.
we're gonna spitball right here. Let's find some reviews of Cats to read.
The first review that comes up on Rotten Tomatoes is a 5-star review from Michelle D. Like the musical, the music and costumes were amazing.
No, they weren't, Michelle.
I mean, there wasn't really much costume. Like, the costume was that they were wearing green leotards. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know.
Which I know you wanted to talk about this. There is a scene where the cat undresses.
Oh yeah, Rebel Wilson in the middle of a musical number. So she's just a normal cat, right? Like, she looks like all the other ones,
Yeah.
and then suddenly she pulls down a zipper and she's wearing like this like neon purple looking like getup, and it's like, whoa, they could fucking unzip themselves.
Mm-hmm. That's like
What the fuck?
yeah, like you know that scene in SpongeBob where the gorilla and he unzips himself and it's Patrick, and then the other gorilla like unzips
Wait,
himself.
if you're Patrick, then who's in the gorilla suit?
If you're Rum Tum Tugger,
And who's in the Jason Derulo suit?
yeah,
We should just talk about SpongeBob.
that would be a good episode.
Actually, like,
Kinda.
I know I like the SpongeBob movies. Have you seen the most recent one?
I haven't.
Maybe that's an episode.
Maybe we could do that.
It wasn't that bad of a movie. I watched it like relatively when it came out, and I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. All right, you can keep talking. I'm looking up the
Okay.
reviews for that movie now because I'm curious if we could even do that on an episode.
I'm gonna read some critic reviews from Rotten Tomatoes on Cats. So, this guy, Daniel Howitt, says, "At best, it's an ambitious misfire. At worst, it's a straight-up nightmare fuel that will haunt generations. Enter into the world of the Jellicles at your own peril." And he gave it a 2 out of 10.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say 2 out of 5. I was like, wow, that's really generous.
That would be really
for that
funny. He's
review.
like, I give it a 4 out of 5.
We can't do the most recent SpongeBob movie.
Is it good?
I enjoyed it myself, but I wouldn't mind talking about it.
Mhm.
But it's got over 60% on everything.
Oh,
I
then
feel
we
like,
can't do it,
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like that wouldn't be a right to. But you should watch it. It was a fun one.
No disrespect to people who love this musical. This is the worst movie of the year. Next year, too. Thank you, Lanita Cook from News 9.
I think something that's really funny is that they released it at the end of 2019, and the way that movies are typically released are that the biggest like blockbusters are either released in the summer or they're released around Christmas time. So they were so confident in this movie that they were like, no, we gotta hold this movie until the big Christmas rush, and they put it out. And it still bombed first week, and it still lost over like $70 million. I don't know where that unplaced confidence came from because, like, again, going back to the musical, it's been quite a long time since it's been on Broadway.
It was the 90s, right?
Yeah, let me look up when it closed.
Mm-hmm. So, while you do that, I'll talk
I
a little
got
more
it
about
right
okay,
here.
Got it.
So it opened 1982, and it closed on 1997. In 1997, which set it as the record for the longest running Broadway musical at the time.
Okay.
I don't know if that still stands, but clearly, like, people are interested in
like it.
Cats if it lasts.
So I guess
long.
that makes sense that it gives reason to believe that a movie adaptation would be good. So, where did they go wrong? Everywhere. The answer is
yeah.
everywhere. I'll answer my own question. It's
was-
everywhere, but go ahead.
I was gonna say I think the main reason they went wrong is just how they went about doing it. I think if they did traditional costumes, things would have been a lot better. I'm not saying make it exactly the same, but like the Cat in the Hat costume for Mike Myers. is Cat in the
Yeah.
Hat. I'm not saying make it look like that because that is kind of creepy in its
that would
own
just
right.
be like moving sideways. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
But they should have kind of done something more like that, where it's an actual like suit of cat fur rather than
Painted on.
rather than like because
in editing.
it felt like everything was too tight, especially with the cats. Like,
I think that kind of plays into how it's weirdly sexual. Why
Yeah.
is a movie about cats sexual?
Yeah.
That's so like
and then like even the ones that aren't explicitly like sexualized, like the older cats or the bigger ones, like you still see way more of them than you would like
than
to
you
see.
need to. Yeah.
Like they could have portrayed the idea that the cat is like larger without showing me James Corden's gut.
yeah.
Like I didn't need that. All right, this is another nitpick, but you kind of got me on the topic when you talked about the Rebel Wilson pulling down her cat suit.
I love a good nitpick.
I don't know if you realized during the one dance scene, there were 2 cats that were wearing Converse while they were dancing.
I didn't notice that.
None of the other cats wore shoes, so I was just confused because
They
I'm
just
like,
had Converse on.
yeah, they were unnamed and they were kind of like doing like a little like, I don't know if tap dance is the word, but
There was a tap dance scene.
yeah, it was during that catnip scene.
Okay, yeah.
So these 2 cats are going. They have like their ears pierced, which is also kind of weird for a cat, but like whatever. I'm not gonna hyper fixate on that. But again, like going by the rules of your own movie, why are these 2 wearing shoes, but yet none of the other cats wear shoes?
Yeah, that's a really good.
Or like, why does Mr. whatever his name wear? Why does he wear a hat? And we don't see another cat in a hat, except for Cat in the Hat
Except
by
for Cat
Dr.
in the
Seuss.
Hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should have Mike Myers show up.
Yeah, and then that would fix everything.
Speaking of episodes we could do, that could be an episode. Because I don't know about you. A lot of people dislike that movie. I like it.
I actually haven't watched it.
Oh.
I mean, maybe I have. I probably have when I was little because I've
Yeah.
watched different versions of Cat in the Hat. I just don't remember.
You would remember that one.
Oh, then I've just seen some of the. I think I've seen maybe animated versions.
Yeah, I was gonna say you would remember that if you saw it.
I have another really good review that I'd like to read. If
Oh
that's
yeah,
all right.
go for it.
This is a 1.5 out of 5 from Richard Krause, who works with Rotten Tomatoes. With actors who appear to have been put through the full-body Snapchat cat filter, a Ziegfeld Follies-style chorus line of dancing cockroaches and felines with human hands and feet, you'll wonder if the theater popcorn is laced with catnip. And I think that's funny because I brought up how it feels like you're smoking a cart night the whole time. 'Cause
Yeah.
it does. It's like a trip.
I will say too, like that is a great comparison to the Snapchat filter because if you look at the whiskers, like they don't look right. That's another thing where like
Nothing looks right.
yeah, they put so much effort and so much money must have went into doing the mocap that like is the end result even worth it when it doesn't look good? I feel like they would have been much better if they just used traditional prosthetics and like makeup almost. I found a good review on Letterboxd that I would like to read. It's not a long one, so this is written by Hannah, who's a pro member. God is dead. That's the review.
That's the whole review?
Yeah, 1,300 likes. God is dead.
Oh, I've got it. Here's a good caption. This is on IMDb. The best horror movie since 2018's Hereditary. This film is truly...
It was a pretty good horror movie. This review kind of corroborates that. I would give anything to unsee James Corden licking milk out of a bowl.
Milk!
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 Oh, yeah, we forgot to mention that when they introduced, what's his name, Tugger?
Rum Tum
Tugger. How could I forget?
How dare you?
Yeah, when they introduced Rum Tum Tugger.
They go to a milk bar.
They're at a milk bar, and like...
Which, by the way, again, going by the own rules of the movie that they've established, why is there a milk bar?
Yeah,
that's not a thing. This isn't Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda. There's no milk bar. That's not a thing in the human world.
I almost wonder if like we misunderstood. But I don't know. How could we misunderstood?
No,
because
there's a whole
musical
scene.
Number. Yeah.
And there's 3 musical numbers in the house.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's like...
And all the beds are to scale of a human.
Right. So why is there a milk bar?
Yeah, it doesn't...
And also, is there like no one around that just sees like, why is there an army of cats dancing in the street? No one like notices that?
I guess maybe it's like kind of like how some other like movies kind of handle like usually non-verbal things being verbal, you know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of times when there's talking animals in a movie, it's like, oh, only the animals could hear each other and the viewer. Like maybe it's like that, but again, like I don't know.
So it's like a schizo kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe maybe the whole thing is the schizo experience.
Yeah.
It's not a real movie. We're just talking about nothing right now.
Yeah, we actually just is the Cart Nights back at it again.
And we'd like to introduce our special guest, Tyler Durden. Yeah, but when they're in the milk bar, they're laying on like their hands and knees and they're physically like licking it. Out of the bowl like a cat.
And this is one of those scenes, Tom, that you brought up where it goes on for a second too long. There's like 2 people sharing a bowl, just licking, and it's like, ooh.
Yeah, it's like you held that camera, I think, for an uncomfortable, like, realistically, it's a second or 2.
They're digging in.
Yeah, it's a second or 2, but that second really resonates with the viewers because you're like, ooh, like, I don't like that. And then you kind of get taken out. Not that it's really easy to get into it to begin with, but you get taken out. And you're just thinking about that, and you can't even pay attention to what the rest of the scene is doing because you're like, what the fuck did I just see?
Right.
Did you find a review? Because I heard you say go, ooh.
Yeah, that's... I started laughing for a second
Okay.
ago because 1 out of 10, I almost put my cat up for adoption after watching
I
Cats.
thought you were gonna say I almost put my cat down.
That's yeah. I mean, oh, they also specify they would give it a negative 60 out of 5 if they could. I went home traumatized. My beloved cat of 4 years was on my bed sleeping, and I almost called the adoption center to put her up on their listing. The next
Aw.
review just says, keep a good sack of holy water around you if you want to watch it. My eyes! And then like a wincing emoji. These are great. These are so funny
There-
reading these reviews.
There's actually like good reviews, which is kind of funny.
I'm looking for them. Here's
Someone
one.
said this is my Avengers. and-
Oh, well, that person has problems
yeah.
in the most respectful and polite way possible.
I have one after.
Oh, I have a good review. If you want to read yours
Okay.
first, though.
This was posted again on Letterboxd by a user named Hungcat. The
Hung
scariest.
cat.
Yeah.
Hung cat.
Yeah.
You don't think that kind of matches? I think.
Well, it's a 1-star review, so clearly they didn't
Oh,
enjoy
okay.
it.
So this okay.
They said the scariest, horniest, and most nightmarish anti-dog propaganda ever made. Which is all fairly
True.
accurate, yeah. Go for your review.
Here's an 8 out of 10. Much better than the critics say. Give it a chance. They're giving some backstory on how they like musicals. I, on the other hand, enjoyed it very much. I had read a little of the bollocking this music is receiving. That's a fun word.
Found a good one.
Receiving, and also a review yesterday. This person isn't. This is such a long review.
Yeah, some people
Holy-
write way
oh
too much.
my god, dude! This is like over. This is like 6 paragraphs.
I just realized
Terrific cinematography is one of the points.
I would respectfully disagree, but
Yeah, the plot is basically just that, and it's based on a collection of poems. Oh, it's wonderful. A wonderful cast, elegant, timid white cat who's dumped in the alley. So this person is saying that the cinematography is really good, and the story is really good.
and they worked for the studio. Oh,
And they were paid, and they have a paycheck.
um,
The review after this really long-winded review is just, this should be a crime against humanity.
all right. Well, we'll wrap it up with the reviews. I got
Yeah,
one
yeah.
more here. I want a jellicle gun to blow my jellicle brains out.
It really is that bad. These reviews are not exaggerating. This movie was so diabolically bad, and it's not like it was some indie film project that like one guy like, this is on behalf of the furry community. This is a blockbuster.
Are you watching indie projects on behalf of the furry
Yeah, I
community?
am. I'm actually.
Because it seems like you got a lot to reference there.
I really like that 8-star review. I relate to Rum Tum Tugger myself and Bustafer.
Rum Tum Tugger. I hardly know her.
I get it.
Wait, I get it now.
I didn't get it the first time.
Yeah, but really, I think the biggest issue with this is not only the CGI but the cinematography. Obviously we already said it's a pretty weak movie, but I think
It's
you could
like
argue.
a step below weak.
Yeah, I think you could argue that the plot for a lot of musicals are pretty weak because the main.
Sure, we could tackle it from that perspective.
Yeah.
That's not the focus. The focus is the music.
Yeah, because obviously, like you said, the focus is the music. Most of the story progresses through the music. So I understand that the script is not always the strongest in most musicals, and that's kind of fine.
Yeah, that's an important aspect. I think I like that. Holy crap, that's worth mentioning.
Yeah. So like, I want to be a little fair
Cat
on
got
that.
my tongue. That's a knee slapper.
Oh, dude, who let Rum Tum Tugger in the studio?
Rum Tum Tugger. I hardly knew her.
Wait. Oh.
Ah, you got it.
Oh
Cause
my
like,
God,
cause
I
like
just-
Rum Tum Tugger. Cause
Dude,
like,
I got way too close to the mic. We just fucking ear raped everyone. Oh
Just
my god. I'm watching the
sucks for
levels here.
them.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, so my main criticism would really just be the cinematography and the CG. Because like you said, it very much feels like you're on a boat and you're just seasick.
seasick the whole time.
Um,
It made my face turn green, based like not actually, but like metaphorically. I
yeah,
felt green watching it.
It's definitely been one of the hardest watches
Oh
in
yeah.
recent time. I mean, I think there's a few movies that I would say I dislike more than it, if you could believe that. But like when I was watching the movie, I had it up on my laptop, and like I was already not super thrilled to watch it, going in knowing that it's a bad movie.
That's
But-
definitely the worst part of this show is we have to watch the
Yeah.
movies that we talk about, which totally sucks.
So I was already like not thrilled to be sitting down and watching Cats, but especially like when I watched the first 20 minutes and it just gave me a headache. I was like, I don't really want to finish this. So for a lot of the movie after that, like, I did finish the movie, but minus the last 7 minutes. But
You didn't miss much.
yeah, I was trying to finish this movie this morning, and I had work, and I thought I timed it well enough that I was gonna be able to watch the movie before I had to go to work, and I had to leave with 7 minutes left, and I was kind of mad because I'm like, I was not freaking close, but
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
like
so
you said,
mad I couldn't finish watching Cats. I really
know,
wanted to watch that.
I wish there was more
It was on my
Cats.
actually bucket list. Letterboxd 5 stars.
I'm logging on Letterboxd once we finish recording this.
We should just make like 1,000 alt accounts and just make it like the best
Boost it?
comeback. Yeah,
I was gonna say that's gonna be hard because all the reviews are overwhelmingly.
It would take a lot of alt accounts, but we'd be able to do it.
Yeah, we got a lot of time on our hands. We can make it work. But yeah, definitely the cinematography. That's what I'm gonna complain about. Because if you feel seasick while watching a movie, not only is that a terrible feeling if it's not meant to, be on a fucking boat, but also like I spent more time looking at my phone, just kind of vaguely listening, because I knew that like
it's not an immersive movie.
Yeah, it's not.
It rejects you. The movie. When I watch a movie or I listen to a song, I want to be pulled into it. I want to be transported into the media that I'm consuming.
Yeah.
When I'm watching Cats, I actively feel like I'm being repulsed away from it. It's like, it's just not good.
Yeah.
It kicks you out. You can't.
Yeah. It doesn't.
You get what I'm saying.
It doesn't want your attention.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Which is. When it's a visual media.
Oppressive. It's like oppressing me while I watch it.
Yeah.
It's pushing me away.
Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up Cats? Or
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite cat?
Who is my favorite cat?
I think we might have the same answer here.
It's probably Rum Tum Tugger.
It's Rum Tum Tugger.
Yeah.
Because I hardly knew her, but also
it's solely just because of the name.
It's because of the name, but also his character's like
his character didn't do
disgusting.
Shit.
Yeah, I know. His character doesn't do anything. He just runs around and he's like that's like his character. It's like that like roller coaster of like I'm gonna do this. It's
he's
like
the Brendan Urie of Cats. Because he just kept hitting unnecessary high notes that nobody wanted to hear, and he was so high energy that he was annoying to be around.
It was like like a kid with undiagnosed ADD or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But I guess again, putting myself in the shoes of the studio who made this, like they probably wanted the Cats to come across as playful because like that's what a cat is.
It didn't come across as playful though. It wasn't.
Just was annoying.
It was annoying.
Yeah.
You can do a playful character well or cat, but every character that was supposed to be playful was over the top and annoying. And Brendan Urie high notes that they shouldn't be singing anymore because their voice is shot.
I don't even hate Brendan Urie that much, but
no, you're right.
Funny.
His new stuff is not.
Yeah.
We broke up, guys. The band is broke up.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sad that Panic broke up. Even if the music isn't as good as it was, like that's still my favorite band of all time.
Just like Cats is my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, it's up there. Probably like top 2, but not 2. If I had to rank it.
Give it a score. Give it
an actual
score. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go off the Letterboxd rating just because I'm gonna be logging after this. So out of 5 stars, I'm really between either half a star or 1 star. But I think I'm gonna go with half a star because, as I said, like I felt like the movie was physically rejecting me. Like it was kind of an active struggle to complete the movie, and I don't think like if it was bad, but like I had like a better time watching it, I think I would have given it that star or maybe a star and a half. But no, like this, I can't even recommend it for a bad watch. You know what I mean? Like there really isn't much fun to be had with this movie.
Yeah.
So I would go.
It's not bad in the way that's entertaining to watch. It's bad in the sense that it's just a high note for an hour and 50 minutes, and it's like after a little bit, you don't really want to hear
also
a high note.
Maybe I should have added this earlier, but Victoria being the main character is weird because she doesn't feel like a character at all.
No, she feels like a spectator. That's because
Sorry,
the movie,
I checked my notes and I forgot to mention that.
The movie is pushing us away and pulling Victoria in. Victoria is watching the movie. She is on set. It's like the movie's not for us. The movie is for Victoria. It's like weird.
I understand the importance of a middleman in any film. Like you definitely need someone to, especially in a film like this that is so conceptually crazy. You need something kind of to balance it out.
Mm-hmm.
But like we don't know anything about Victoria besides the fact that she's abandoned and she's kind of looking for someone to become.
Is she even looking
included
for
in.
someone? She kind of just
Well, yeah, she kind of
stumbles
just
on
falls
them. It just
into it, I
happens.
guess.
Just,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
But she really doesn't say much. We don't get to learn much about her. And I feel like 90% of the movie, when we see her on screen, it's just the same, like, kind of, like, intrigued look with, like a smile.
Yeah.
open
That
mouth
ugly,
smile.
uncanny valley face
Yeah.
that she does. That's like soulless and just really makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that earlier. It kind of just jumped into my mind. But, I mean, when your main character is that lame, it really
The
makes
main
the
character
movie
feels like
harder.
she's a static character.
Yeah.
They're all static characters. There's no
Yeah, there's no nuance to really any of them. It's not like
they're all there.
you don't get to learn much about them along the way.
And you could argue, "Oh, but they're cats." I'm going to argue, "But it's a movie and
Yeah.
I watched it." So
No, I would side with you on that argument to just say, well, it's cats. Like,
we'll watch America Funniest Home Videos.
yeah,
You know
like
what I mean?
if you think that like they can't be more, thought out than what they were just because they're a cat, like you must think that the movie shouldn't have even been made to begin with.
Yeah.
Like the idea of making a movie about cats.
It's not horrible
yeah.
conceptually.
Well, I personally I don't think
But-
would be a fan of it.
Yeah, it's not really my sense of humor, but conceptually there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It has a very definitely could be a very fun family friendly movie to make a movie.
This one
about
was
a
not
bunch of no, it wasn't
friendly.
family friendly. It
With
was
all
PG,
the crotch,
but it was
with
like
all the crotch shots.
and James Corden
Yeah.
upside down and shit. But yeah, I think maybe this movie already exists, but like a movie that's just about some mischievous cats could be a really fun family friendly movie. Yeah.
Cat in the Hat.
Cat in the Hat.
You gotta watch that movie, dude.
Yeah.
That's such like a early 2000s, like the main cast is comprised of Mike Myers, Alec Baldwin, Paris Hilton shows up in it. Like it's a very 2000s movie. Hopefully maybe a future episode.
Compare them.
Yeah, speaking of future, we may be having guests in the near future.
Yes,
There's a few people who have expressed
people
interest.
have told for some reason told us they want to come join the podcast.
Yeah,
so
so hopefully next episode we'll have our first guest. We're gonna
no
be working
spoilers
that out.
to who that is.
Yeah, he's aware of who he is though, that might be exciting. And then looking ahead a couple months from now, so we record this in the studio of our college.
Yes.
Over the summer, we will have to either see. We might be doing it over Zoom.
We could also.
Yeah, or we could physically just. I don't know. We have a few different options.
I have an idea that I'll say it when we're done.
Okay.
Because we can't just tell our plans.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the podcast will be continuing in some capacity over the summer.
Yes.
And
Maybe on a
that'll
smaller scale.
Yeah,
but
that'll open up to having more guests than just who's here with us at
Yes,
the college,
yes,
which is super
yes.
exciting. So definitely stay tuned. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming out for Movie Basket. We do have some lofty plans. Before I say goodbye, Gene, I'll throw it to you. Any last remarks? Anything you want to throw in there?
I'll rate the movie too. I'll give it.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to ask.
no problem. I'll give it a one.
One
step
star?
above because
Yeah.
I do genuinely think that if you were with the right group of friends and you had just enough alcohol, I think you could get a laugh at it for a little bit.
I think you could say that about
Something-
almost any movie, though.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I don't know.
So 1 star. All right, now
I gotta. You bring a good point. Any movie you could enjoy it
Yeah.
like that. I'm gonna bump it down to 0.5.
All right.
So
we both
that
agree.
has been our review of Cats.
Yeah. Leave a comment down below if you guys have seen Cats, what your thoughts are on the movie. I'd love to hear if there's any similar takeaways. Maybe some.
Maybe you guys like it. Tell us.
Yeah. Maybe some things we missed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we talked about a hour and 40-minute long movie. Sorry, tongue twister for some reason.
Oh, Cat's got your tongue. I already
yeah.
made that joke. It's
Oh.
even funnier the second time.
Rum Tum Tugger got in again.
I hardly knew her.
But we talked about a movie that's well over an hour long and under an hour, so there's definitely some things we probably missed. So leave comments down below if there's
Right.
anything you want.
If you wanted us to talk about.
Yeah. But with that being said, thank you guys for tuning into Movie Basket once again. We will hopefully be back in the next couple of weeks with another movie for you guys. So this is Tom and Jean saying
Signing
see ya.
out for today. Have a good day.
Bye, guys.